As we come on the air with you here at 5 o'clock tonight, new tonight, we have new video from a drone of the UPS jet crash debris field just right at the end of the airport runway. This was released from the NTSB just 6 hours ago. We now know the identities of 5 of the 13 total victims so far. 9 people still missing, and today the very first lawsuit filed in the case.
We also learned today the NTSB is making a correction on some information it put out yesterday. The board said yesterday that the UPS plane's GPS indicated an altitude of 475 feet before the crash. The NTSB is now translating that measurement to say this equates to approximately 100 feet above ground level.
And we thank you for joining us again for more of our coverage. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Connie Leonard. We want to get right to Jody Myman from Louisville Emergency Management Agency, who is here to talk more about the city's response to the crash. So, Jody, thanks so much for being here.
Jody, you're joining us via Zoom. You're joining us via Zoom right now, and I know you've been very busy with meetings. You heard Todd Inman in his briefing today about the investigation. What is the city's involvement right now, and as this goes into the weekend and next week?
Yeah, so, today we are still working significantly, for the search and recovery, operation here on site. We're running parallel to that as well as the environmental cleanup part. There's so much going on site, like everybody's seen, it's a very large area, and there's so much to be done, but I can't say enough about everybody that's come on site. We've got about 100 people here each day. That's followed up from the other night during the initial response, with probably having 250 to 300 responders on site.
Mm-hmm. Jody, of the 100 who are there today, who are we talking about that are still here with us in Louisville?
So we've got environmental cleanup companies, Metropolitan Sewer District, our local health department, state health department, federal EPA, along again with some contractors. We've got our local fire, EMS, Louisville Metro Police is on scene, and they're working again, doing some search and recoveries of the site, along with the NTSB, along with their investigation.
Jody, you talk about the search and recovery. Is it your fear that the 9 people unaccounted for are there in the debris field?
Right now, we're really getting those numbers straight. We've been working with the Family Assistance Center and with the Victim Services Unit, with LMPD, to really nail those numbers down, especially after we took the 12 out and put them in the hands of the coroner the other night to work on that, to further work on that identification. We're still moving, if we have one on site, we're still moving, very, very methodically with dignity and respect to try to make sure that we get everyone located on here. And there's some very, significant challenges on site as well. We've got some heavy equipment that's probably coming in tonight or first thing in the morning, because we're not able to get into places, under places, without some of this heavy equipment. So we're going to be working through the weekend to get those things done.
Jody, have you also been part of helping some of the business owners get back in over there near the airport today?
So one of the things, we've developed a plan, and we've started to contact some business owners to get them in here. One of the challenges is, like I mentioned, the environmental cleanup, specifically, and it's not necessarily just in streams adjacent to the site, but it's on the road. We've had to develop a decontamination plan for, simply vehicles that are driving up and down the road, so that they're not cross-contaminating and taking anything off site. Louisville Gas and Electric and KU, my sincere condolences go out to, the family at LG&E for what they've been through. But they're working on site. We've had to have pole replacement, wire replacement. There's steps that have to be taken place before we can physically allow people to come back in, and some of these places, some of the businesses have to be released by the NTSB because there could be debris in or around on their property. So there's a lot of components that have to be done, but we're very, in the short range, we plan on allowing people to come in and at least check their facilities out.
All right, Louisville Metro Emergency Services Director, thank you so much. Jody Myman joining us live via Zoom tonight. Connie?
All right. Well, we also learned the names. Thank you, Jody. Learned the names of 2 more victims today, including a 3-year-old girl Lou Fedden and granddaughter Kimberly Asa among the 13 confirmed dead from Tuesday's crash, including the 3 crew on board, of course. Today, 9 still unaccounted for, many believed to be underneath that debris field spanning close to a half-mile wide.
Also new tonight, the first lawsuit filed in this case against UPS, Boeing, and General Electric. Morgan & Morgan attorneys filing the suit on behalf of individuals and businesses in the area. The suit claims the plane crash acted like a bomb, igniting jet fuel and burning the surrounding area. In the lawsuit filed, they used images from this video you see right here, dash cam video showing the plane coming out of the sky to support their claims.
Shakira Ware is named in the lawsuit, saying she was in a home nearby where she was exposed to the smoke from the oil fire, and auto repair shop Triple D was in the path of the wreckage and claims their shop, machinery and employee vehicles also were destroyed. The same goes for Ensley LLC. Property owners say was contaminated with the chemicals, and the law firm said, in part, our clients and others began their day like any other, and they are now left grappling with how and why this catastrophe could have happened.
And we do know of at least one other law firm that plans to file a suit within the next week. Right now, we have had a team of reporters for you covering the UPS crash tonight from across Louisville.
They are hearing the stories of witnesses and those who knew the victims. But first, let's get straight out to Conroy Deluge with an update on what the NTSB told us today. Conroy?
Yeah, the NTSB is going to remain in town indefinitely, but as far as we know, this was the final media briefing while they are in town. And as you mentioned, we learned that information, how the flight was actually probably about 100 feet of altitude high, not 475 feet. That's equivalent of about 10 stories. Now, Todd Inman with NTSB actually walked us through some of the audio that they extracted from the cockpit recorder. There's about 2 hours of what they called good quality audio. And now I'm going to share kind of what details he reviewed. He says that the crew did complete briefings and standard checks before the flight. The takeoff roll was considered uneventful. Then, 37 seconds after takeoff thrust, a repeating bell was heard for 25 seconds until the recording ended. Inman believes that the recording ended upon the point of impact. As for the area of impact, Inman said specialized heavy equipment is en route to Louisville so they can lift more debris and other items.
The one complicating factor for this scene is because of the type of businesses where this impacted, is you're seeing a lot of combination of similar metals or alloys. And so we'll have to distinguish between aircraft parts and those which may already be on the ground. But we've already made plans to try to move as much of that off site and then evaluate what we need to in a different location, which will hopefully free up more of the debris area.
And they said that they know that there are a lot of businesses that are impacted by that. They're trying to be mindful of that as they continue this extraction process, which also involves looking for more of those victims. There are still 9 people reported missing. Now, NTSB will remain in town for what they say is as long as possible. Now, beyond investigating the crash, like we said, they are looking for potential victims. NTSB has also requested what they call an exemplary aircraft from UPS so that way they can compare and do flight simulations to try and uncover exactly what led to this crash. Live from the airport with Connie Offit, photojournalist, Conroy Deluge, WHAS11 on your side.
Explosion off Fern Valley Road by the airport. Lots of black smoke. Fern Valley Road and Great Lane. Said there was a huge explosion, believed to be a plane crash, huge fire and smoke.
There you have it. That's the actual broadcast of the Louisville Fire Department's conversations just minutes, if not seconds, after the catastrophic plane crash Tuesday night at about 5:15. Hundreds of first responders from around Kentucky responding to put out that blaze. And we are joined now for his first interview here in the studio since the tragedy, the Louisville Fire Chief Brian O'Neill. And Chief O'Neill, I know you rightfully want to give credit to the first responders who got in there, Okolota, and that.
Absolutely.
You're very good about that. But
yes.
When you witnessed a half-mile long stretch of fire, and you and I were talking where this ranks in disasters in our community, it has to be now at the top.
Absolutely. Certainly in my 25-year career, we've not seen something this large, this massive, and this much loss of life.
Chief, kind of take us back a little for folks who kind of want to know exactly how the flames, how you guys put the flames out in the first hours before midnight, that first night, and that helped immensely as far as keeping, you know, the shelter in place going smaller instead of venturing out.
Sure. So the initial call, it is just over the city boundary with Okolona. So Okolona and LFD were both knocked out initially. Okolona got on scene, took command. LFD crews arrived. We started calling for extra equipment right away. We got a lot of help. When you talk about the type of flames, this fuel-fed fire that is this large conflagration, firefighting foam is what we need. And we have experts right here in town at the airport and the Air National Guard that sent resources as well. We had some local businesses that sent additional foam so that we could try to blanket that fuel-fed fire to suppress it. You almost have to treat it like a wildfire, surround it, cut it off, and then just start pushing in to shrink it down.
Wow.
Did you know immediately that it was a plane crash and that you had a fire field of a half-mile long?
Not initially. The initial knockout was for an explosion, but immediately, Metro Safe EMA was doing good work with getting multiple calls, coordinating with the airport. So by the time I was in my vehicle heading to the scene, we knew that it was a plane crash. Of course, I was in communication with Mayor Greenberg because he's trying to stay on top of that.
And what did you first see?
Well, what I first saw, my wife works at the airport, so the first thing I saw, she texted me the initial plume and she said, "What is this?"
Wow.
And then as soon as I was in my car on the way there, you could see this tremendous column. We look back to the GE fire. That was a huge column of smoke that was just, this was so much worse.
Right. Let's talk about now, where we are. The NTSB mentioned the hot spots that are out there, mentioned the hoses that are out there, and the fire crews that are out there now. So tell us where we are with, just watching for hot spots, what the firefighters
They
are
keep
doing.
popping up, he said.
Sure. So, of course, this is the NTSB's scene, and they're also coordinating with state urban search and rescue teams, which is almost all of the fire departments here in Jefferson County are contributing members to that. And we've got people from around the state to do like the grid searches. But in the midst of that, you might have an area with a little bit of fuel that's left on the ground. Maybe there's a lot of debris around it. And if it's still burning, we're not going to really take a lot of time to try to clear that out just to extinguish a small that's nothing bigger than like a campfire, because we have to really put the focus on getting that debris and making sure they can do their investigation.
My final question to you as we go into the weekend, your message to the community after what you just witnessed.
Just stay safe. And think about each other, and remember, as people are looking at this horrible, horrible scene, and they're playing it over and over again like a disaster reel, please remember these are real people that got infected. We lost lots and lots of people that here locally, UPS, and the people in these businesses. These are loved ones, these are families, so keep them in your hearts.
And we needed to hear that on this Friday.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Chief.
Chief Brian O'Neill, Louisville Fire Department. We thank you so much for your time.
Yes, sir.
Again, we're following this story all evening long. More interviews on this coming up for you in just a few minutes, so stay with us and download the free WHAS11 app. You can always follow us live.
And as we head to break, here's a check of today's Kentucky Lottery jackpots. Mega Millions, $843 million. Powerball, $467 million.
The Kentucky Lottery, funding education for over 1 million Kentucky students.